But you know what else was tonight and we're supposed to do anyway? We're supposed to be doing this. So what were your thoughts on the
Yep.
She-Hulk episode?
It was good.
This will be pretty quick,
Um,
I imagine.
I'm gonna jump right to the end though. That last shot at the end. He's coming.
Who?
He's coming.
Who are you referring to?
What was in that hat box?
Oh yeah, Daredevil. Yeah.
Daredevil.
Right.
Yeah,
That
he's
was the
coming.
only thing that really like that's kind of like I said at the beginning of the show here. Like we might really need to call. I may have made all these graphics for She-Hulk Aftershow or not because like really isn't much to talk about if the show continues like this, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing in any way. I enjoy the show. I will say, of all the episodes, this was probably the most boring one to me.
I'd
It took
agree.
it took me a while to get through it. Like, cause I started watching it because I usually I gotta get up pretty early to take my daughter to school, and then I have like an hour or so before work starts. So I usually have like I can normally get like Rings of Power in or whatever, like first thing in the morning because I'm not even doing anything. I have this hour to kill. And I was just like, I turned this on and I paused it at some point, and it's a very short episode, mind you, and I was able to pause it and forget that I was even watching it. So, like, it took me like, I watched probably, like, 5 minutes of it, really wasn't paying much attention because it didn't grab me, nothing was really happening, and then it was, like, 3 hours later, like, around lunchtime, I was like, "Oh, shit, I was watching She-Hulk," and then I had to think, "Did I finish She-Hulk?" And I couldn't even remember, but then, obviously, I didn't, I only watched, like, 5 minutes of it. That said, I didn't think it was bad, it just was nothing was really happening with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that is not necessarily a bad thing by any means, but it just wasn't,
I,
I
I
don't know.
think it's the nature of the show too. It's hard to find a lot to comment on sitcoms. I mean, sitcoms tend to not have they have like an overarching narrative that they're kind of trying to tell, but they don't break down into, multiple storylines where you're following multiple characters doing multiple things that go on throughout the season. Like this had the very small subplot of her assistant and the other lawyer she works with trying to find an outfit for her because her clothes are goofy or whatever. Um,
I did love Pug, like, being, real hard into the sneakers, though. I thought that was the
that was
best scene of
great.
the show. Like,
What did he
sadly, I
say?
think that was the best one.
I love the collector line that he had. One to rock and one to
Yeah,
I can't remember what
one
it was
to
now.
one to rock and one to stock.
One to
W
rock and one to side. I
was
love
that
that. I
it?
love
I
that
think
line.
that's
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
If that wasn't it, then you're welcome because I just gave you another one,
Yeah,
but I
there you
think that
go.
was it, right?
That was a great line. I really
No,
like
yeah.
that one because that
Dude,
is the collector mentality.
yeah. No, for sure, like, and, like, I really, like I just liked the Pug character from the first time he was introduced, and I think they haven't given him, like, really anything to do. Like, he had that one scene in, like, what it was, episode 3 when he had to, represent the shitty ex-coworker that, Jen had at the time,
Yep.
the dude who had the best line in the series in that, like, 1st or 2nd episode when he saw the girl and he said, like, "There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it." Like,
Yeah.
it. Like, it was the
Yeah.
funniest fucking thing, like, out of nowhere, just like, that was it, and then he leaves. That was hilarious.
Like if you can't find a way to make it more douchey, you have
Yeah.
them refer to
Like
females as
yeah,
objects.
exactly. Just like, there
Yeah,
it is. Like, that's everything you need to know about that character, and it was
in one
in
line.
one line. Yep, and that was
Yep.
so great. It was really good line. But then Pug, his first appearance was when he brought her the basket and, like, had all the stuff for her first day there, and he drew her a freaking map of where to go to the best like, that's the kind of
Yep.
friend that I want to have. If someone were to tell me where the best toilet was in the building, like, that dude is looking out for your best interests on, like,
He's
a
re
like, very
he
resourceful on a level you don't even think about. I'm like,
he's agreeing to reciprocate favors without like he's tacitly just saying like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you your favor back too with interest and stuff too." Like, it's
"Mhm.
nice to have that verbal affirmation that they're gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure."
Some
And then
people just assume you're gonna help them out and never help you out.
Exactly, yeah. And I also loved in the last episode with the, it was like a really short thing, but I just thought it was funny, but it's just a testament to how much at least I've liked the guy's portrayal of the Pug character anyway. Like, when they were dealing with the shape-shifting elf and the elf, like, leaves his office, and when,
Yeah.
like, he finds out it's him, and she says, like, the line about him, like, being shitty to women or something or whatever, and he comes out just real quick, it's just like, That's not true, like, you know me." Like, I mean, it's just it's just come on.
Such a good yeah.
It's just he's doing a great job, even though they're not giving him much to do. He's really selling it. He's making the character, like, really likable, so I wish they would use him a bit more because he is very likable. But
I will also say the way they're using this Titania character, they're having conflict and they're fighting each other, but they're not physically fighting each other, which I thought I will give them credit. It's kind of clever. Because I think the expectation was that they were going to be throwing fists at each other every time they encountered each other, and that is not what they're doing. So, um, I can't say I actually kind of enjoyed that aspect of it.
I would say, like, where I kinda like, to be honest, I didn't even pick up on that nuance that you just described, like, and that's a good take if that's how you took it, because that might kinda make it me look at it in a different light in some capacity, but I just thought, like, overall, and this is more of a marketing department problem, they kinda set everything up for us to assume what you just said was gonna happen. Like, all the trailers and everything showed, like, they were gonna this Titania was gonna be the villain, like,
Yeah,
the bad guy. They were gonna fight, and
and
that hasn't happened.
and the actress that plays her has been all over the media, like all over the interview circuit. She's done the interview circuit for the show and stuff. So yeah,
Mhm,
I was under the impression that maybe she was going to be like a multiple episode villain that She-Hulk was going to have to overcome, and in a way she is having to overcome her, but it's a completely different type of conflict than what
mhm.
I expected.
And I like the aspect of, for one, there's been a lot of things that the show has kinda promised that I don't feel like they've been really leaning into enough in a lot of ways, which was the sitcom, lawyer show, breaking the fourth wall. They're using it all, but not as much as I kind of expected them to. Like,
Yeah.
we've really only seen those, like, we had the court case at the beginning and that we didn't really get to see the court case, though. There was no actual drama or story built around the court case when Titania burst through the wall at the end of the first episode, and it was over. Like, that was really it, which was, again, kinda also disappointing from the aspect of the show had been kind of insinuating there was gonna be a big fight kind of aspect with, Titania and everything, so that's kind of one of the, like, more not really like a bad thing, but it's kind of like one of the problematic things, if you will, in, like, some capacity anyway. It's not like a bad thing, but it's just kind of a thing where it's like, yeah, just like they overpromised and underdelivered on some of these things. Because like, the fourth wall breaks are really when they've used the fourth wall breaks, I've felt like they've all worked really well, but I feel like they just haven't used them enough, like, in a lot of ways. Like, you watch Deadpool 1, I think he breaks the fourth wall just in the first Deadpool movie in the first 5 minutes more than Jen's broken the fourth wall throughout the entire series at this point. Not that that's making the show unenjoyable or anything, it was just something that I just expected more of in some capacity, and then I just think that because of how much they hyped up in the marketing, the Titania stuff, that it's been kind of lackluster, just what we've seen, and I'm not meaning there needs to be, like, a big fight with them or anything like that, it's just like all we got, like, it's just the way the Titania character's been portrayed has been kinda lackluster, and it's not because of the fighting, it's just like, all she's really done is burst through a wall in the first episode, and then gets knocked out in one punch, and then we don't see her again until this episode, really, and it's because of the name thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, not that I didn't like how it all played out. I thought it all played out fine. It was all good. I liked it. I just it's just a weird thing, and I feel like the problem with almost every Disney Plus show, honestly, comes down to the runtime. It's just they're just the shows are just so short. It feels like they don't have enough time to add more stuff to it. Because I feel like this if this episode would have just happened at the end of the first episode or something, like if they could have cut it up differently to where it was all kind of part of the same thing, so you get the Titania arc like done with in the first 2 episodes, maybe I feel like it would have been better or something. Like, I don't know. There's just something with I think the runtime is really affecting it because I never feel this way after watching honestly any show that's not on Disney Plus. Like, aside from What We Do in the Shadows, which is on Hulu, that's the only show that I feel like is too short, but it's just because it's so goddamn good, I don't want it to be a 20-minute show. I would much rather that be a 45-minute show just because it's so good and they do so much in that 21, 23 minutes, and it
Yeah.
always works. Like, even though the show ends, like, that's how a sitcom's supposed to work. Like, they introduce a storyline, they fucking execute that storyline, and it's hilarious 99.9% of the time. Like, that show is what they should be if they wanna make 21-minute episodes, they need to watch What We Do in the Shadows, and that's what they need to do. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. I didn't really have too much else to say about She-Hulk, unfortunately. Like,
No,
it's
I
good, but
we got our little tease of the mutants in the MCU again with the credit scene and the picture of all the different shoes that were created in the MCU.
that, and
Um,
then, like we said off the top, the Daredevil scene. I will say, now that I'm skimming through this, there's been some speculation about this guy who, oddly enough, got reintroduced. You remember the date that she had with him?
yeah.
She seemed to be like acute, or he seemed to be like acutely interested in her powers and what she could or couldn't do, and just weird things like that that you wouldn't necessarily ask a normal person on a date. And then I don't know if you saw this, but people saw that initially. I think it was in the screeners that people had for the show. This character's name in the credits was Hulk name, like whatever his name is. Like if his name is Dan, it said like Hulk Dan. And but in the credits, once it released to the public on Disney Plus, now it just says what his name was, not Hulk, whatever.
Oh,
So people thought like, well, maybe there's some different, deeper connection to Hulk, or like someone who is working against Hulk, like someone maybe working for the leader. Maybe he's with the wrecking crew. Maybe he's someone who's not necessarily the guy behind the wrecking crew, but is somehow part of them. Because like I could see the wrecking crew, like, we saw them try to get her blood and failed. So maybe another member of the wrecking crew, maybe someone higher up on the food chain was like, "Let's try a different approach." Like, and then
oh.
they see that she's on Tinder or whatever, and then this is where he comes in. Like, he sees to try to get more I could see that happening. I don't know if that's what is happening, but I thought it was interesting that what could have been looked at as a throwaway funny date scene turned into he's a recurring character now. And his name used to be presented differently in the credits. So when you add those 3 things together, it makes it kinda questionable, kind of interesting, but I don't know if that's really a thing. Were you aware of any of that stuff and people talking about this guy outside of that?
No, I hadn't heard any of that. I mean, they brought back this guy. They also brought back some of the other date guys. So
They did, yeah.
they gave this guy a little. It seemed like they gave him a little bit more bigger of a role in this episode. So maybe it will turn into something. But yeah, it's been a slow burn.
Yeah, it's I'm it's a weird thing because I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't bad in any way, but, I think it coulda just worked a lot better if there was a good 20 more minutes after it or something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like conversely, like this will be a callback to Rings of Power in a lot of way when we get into that in a minute. But it's like Rings of Power like has set up a lot of things, and then they just you don't even come back to it like in an entire episode sometimes. But the problem with like Rings of Power is that like you said it first after we watched the first two episodes. You said like it seems something along the lines of it seems like they're just setting up cliffhangers for the intent of having a cliffhanger or something like that. It's like it seems like they're just unanswering questions just for the sake of having a cliffhanger or something
Yeah.
along those lines. And they really are. Like they're like I'll save it for when we get back to it. But with this show, it's like they've set up a lot of stuff and they just haven't even touched back upon it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, the abomination stuff was kind of the first thing that was set up to be, like, the overarching plot of the series in some capacity. But, like, it seems like it could just be like, was that it? Are we never gonna see Blonsky again? Is she got him his parole. Is he done now? Is that a thing? Who knows? We saw the wrecking crew and someone's trying to get her blood. Haven't seen anything else since. No indication of who was trying to do it. No tease of anything relating to that. Hasn't been brought up again one time. We haven't seen or heard her talking to Hulk since the second or third episode, whatever it was, when he was leaving the planet. So like there's all these things that have been kind of set up, but like Titania, was this the end of that? Because like Titania was kind of set up. But they had this court case now, so are they done with that? Like, there's just a lot of things that I feel like have been set up and either seemingly could be at a stopping point, but it would be an unfulfilling stopping point if it was.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a weird thing. I tried to go through and see like any like costumes that stuck out to me in this, and I didn't really see anything. Did you see anything when you were going through here?
I didn't, but to be honest, I was finishing this up right before we came on, and I was not paying that close attention to his costume shop.
The only thing
Um,
I will say is this guy leaving, I did catch this when I think it's at the earlier scene because now she's picking up her suits. I can't remember if it's the first or second one. When she walks in, is it this time or the first time she goes here? I think it's the first time. There's that guy who is leaving the place. So it's maybe here. Must be here. Let me see. This guy right here. There he is.
yeah.
That is the Frogman guy. That's Frogman. So that's the same actor who he's on like the credits for being. This is interesting. This mannequin has a little fat belly. No, because you gotta think this dude makes these things custom fit for all of his agent, all of his clients. Who,
Uh-huh.
who who do we know that the only person we know that has a little beer belly is Red Guardian. There's no one else
Yeah.
that's kinda fat right now in the MCU, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is
No,
Red
no.
Guardian, but I'm just I just noticed that. Like, why is this guy got a little he's got a little pooch there, and he's got a package too. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. But yeah, so that guy
This
walking
little dad
through,
dad bod going on there?
he does have a bit of a dad bod. A little
Rocking
bit
a
of
dad
dad
bod.
bod. Yeah, so that guy though is Frogman. That's the only thing that I caught in any way, shape, or form is that's the actor who's credited for playing Frogman, and that was him walking out. But that's it. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Like, that's just I mean, I don't know what that is. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. I don't know who this is. This is like this looks like some Night's Watch kinda garb. Like the little
Yeah.
fur that would go over the coat or the capes or something. Yeah, I couldn't just pick any I saw the beer belly, I saw Frogman.
Which is kind
Nothing.
of funny because I'm surprised that there wasn't something, at least one. I mean, I guess there is. I guess this was our one, was
There's
the
the
Daredevil
one.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would think that there would have been at least one or maybe even two or three references to other MCU characters, even if they were ones we knew, just because getting to this guy seemed to be an issue. And he
Mhm.
seemed to be very exclusive to only certain superheroes, yet we can't figure out like we can't identify any other superheroes besides the final shot. So
Mhm. Well, that's what like, this obviously looks like a female jacket of some kind, so maybe he's making the Thunderbolts stuff right now, so maybe that was Red Guardian with the beer belly.
yeah.
Maybe this is for, Yelena,
Elena.
and then this honestly kinda looked like this looked like it's like a vest, it could be for Bucky. It's got a vest, like, there's no
Yeah,
sleeves, right?
I have a hard time. Okay. Yeah, I have a hard time picking those up. I'm gonna have to watch them on my TV and see if I can't pick up more details on a bigger screen.
I mean, this has a kinda Captain America looking vibe with, like, the straps and, like, little hip guard here, but, like, a Bucky interpret because, like, they I could
Yeah.
see them giving Bucky a similar stitched kind of vest to wear that kinda looked like Cap, you know, I could see maybe that's Bucky's suit. And then there's what? There's, like, 1 2 more there, and then the girl there, so that's, like, 4 or 5 people from Thunderbolts. If that's the case, maybe he is making Thunderbolts' his gear. It could be. Well, then obviously, yeah, Daredevil with best look we really had at the new yellowish kinda helmet there. I don't know,
Is
what
that
how do
is
you
it yellow? Is it?
mhm,
Man,
supposedly, like
I'm so colorblind. I do not get yellow out of that.
the funny thing is, this is really worn down. Like, 'cause it's totally yellow, but this is like it's like Daredevil ordered the weathering. He paid extra money for them to weather his helmet after the fact because, like, there is a lot of scuff mark here, you can totally see the gray or silver shining through. This horn is, like, still totally gray. Tons of scrapes here on the top, everywhere, over the eyebrow. He's like, "I need a new helmet, but, like, I still want it to look like I get into fights, so
Well,
can you, like, can you
here's the
weather it
thing.
for me?" Like,
Do you think that they don't get new helmets? That he just gets a they just repair his existing helmet?
in today's world, at least from an IT standpoint, 9 times out of 10, it's cheaper and more efficient to just get a new one. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot and that's honestly true for a lot of clothes. Like, you know how much more work it's gonna cost, like, a tailor to find the correct needle, thread, everything you would need to actually match something, not just patch it, right? Because you could patch something, all that's easy. But if you're wanting to make it, like, same materials to a T and make it flush and perfect, that's a lot of labor, that's a lot of hours, it's a lot of depending on the material, it could be hard to even find. So, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know. So, I mean, yes and no. I could see it being, "Oh, he just needed the X piece got damaged, so they just put a new one on." But it's like, you'd think he'd give him a new paint job after the fact if that's the case, I don't know.
sure.
But I feel like in the end, Kevin Feige and the actual, like, coming back to the real world, the costume designers would want his helmet to look a little bit rougher, and so he didn't because then it gives, honestly, the interpretation that this quote unquote "new Daredevil" has been around for a while, right? Like,
Mm,
it's like he's doing stuff. He's got this for one, he's got a different color helmet because now it's yellow, but for two, it's already been scuffed up pretty bad. So he's been using the yellow for quite some time now. So from like a storytelling audience perspective, it kind of subconsciously lets you know that like this is a new Daredevil and he's been around for a while. So I could see that just being the simple answer for it, really.
mhm,
Other than the fact that it just kind of looks better, like just kind of scuffed up too, When everything just looks all nice and shiny, it usually doesn't look as good. 9 times out of 10 anyway. I think that was like the best look you really got out of it.
yeah.
Surprised I even paused it in the right time. Let's try to see last thing I really want to do with the She-Hulk stuff, honestly, is trying to look and see what shoes we can pick out. That was really the only other thing that stood out to me in any capacity was just the different shoes that were in Pug's shoe room or shoe closet. There maybe the costume was for this guy. Look at that gut.
Maybe.
Boom.
Little cosplayer costume going on.
Mhm. Maybe that's all it was. Did I miss the shoes?
Yeah, yeah, it would have been back at the beginning because they have kind of a default. Yeah, it would have been. They have a default set of stills that they use or images they use at the end of it, right before the text credits. But the first part are always from the episode.
Yeah. Why am I not seeing it? Their scroll feature kinda sucks, like, you don't
Must
get, like, accurate thumbnails, like, as you're skimming through.
must have been a very short time it was up.
Mhm. You gotta be kidding me. I just went in to just skim through this and find it, and now okay, I got shoes.
There you
There's the
go.
Iron Man 3s. What do we got? There's the Cyclops, there's Captain Marvel.
There's Spider-Man 2 above Cyclops. Is that
What is this,
Spider-Man? Thing. No, that's
Brainiac?
Thing.
Yeah, that's Thing. Look
Thing.
at this, though.
Yeah.
Who has 3 dots in Marvel? Why am I not thinking about this? Because all I'm thinking of is Brainiac right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see there's probably a better angle here too.
Captain Marvel, Cyclops.
This is probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Black Panther,
Yep.
Moon Knight right here. There's a crescent moon right there. I didn't see those before. Who has those 3 goddamn dots? I know those 3 goddamn dots. I can't think of what it was. What is this though too? Is this like Falcon or something? What is that? Oh no. Oh my god, I know who that is. Who is that? If it's who I'm thinking of, that's a pretty deep cut. Because this would be Falcon, I think. This is red and white and then has a wing there. So I imagine those would be Falcon. That's Hulk up there with a big H, I presume, and it's green and purple. Who's over here? Oh, they got more dots over here. Is that Galactus? 3 dots for the Galactus, maybe? Does he
Could
have 3
be.
dots on his head? I can't. I wonder.
Galactus doesn't know. Galactus has the big horns, the
Yeah, I know he has the horns, but doesn't he on the center of his helmet maybe have it? I can't remember.
mm,
It's been a while since I've seen anything with Galactus in it. Maybe we get
I
him
don't
painted in a
believe
bit
so.
more. Oh, maybe what's this one though? All this is so too. I guess I might as well just say utterly pointless. It's not like because they made a
Oh,
shoe,
sure.
it doesn't mean that like any of these things already exist in the MCU. Like
Oh,
these
yeah.
are obviously just like a fun Easter egg. Like I can't imagine Kevin Feige in any way, shape, or form would have okayed this under the impression that they were saying,
These
yes,
exist,
yeah,
yeah.
they all exist in the MCU if you do this. I'm assuming these all yellow ones are Kitty Pryde though. Or not Kitty Pryde, Jubilee.
Jubilee, yep.
Yeah, that's what would make sense to me. There's nothing else on there, so I feel like that's just a rendition of her raincoat,
Uh-huh.
but in shoe form. Maybe this one might be can't tell if it's like fire or something, but it might have been Phoenix. There's a light and what maybe that's because this is okay, so this is it, but this is like red and yellow. Is that like this a different rendition of like one of the Marvels? Red and yellow though? I don't know. This one's gonna bug the shit out of me though, because I know this is like oh no mind. I'm thinking of Baron Mordo in the comics has a black like vest with a white emblem on it that looks a lot like that. But that's not it, I don't because this is like blue and yellow, so it doesn't make any sense for it to be granted, I'm colorblind, so it could be whatever. It could be something entirely different than blue and yellow for all I know. The Deadpool ones, I thought, though, were very funnily placed because they're, like, right here looking right at her,
Yeah.
which what I was at first, I thought it was, like, really funny because like, I thought it was, like, Jen standing there because of the fourth wall break, and then I was like, "Well, wait, that wouldn't be Jen," and then, like, I obviously, that's the girl, her friend, who he was actually talking about the shoes to. So then I was like, "Well, it was funny in my mind when this was Jen, and now it's not as funny, but it's still funny." Yeah. Oh, you
Before
got
we leave,
anything else to add about She-Hulk?
well, just before we leave the Marvel world, I'm just gonna show you this real quick. So we had to stop at Walmart yesterday, and I found this.
Hmm.
It was on the clearance rack, so
Oh,
you
a
see
resin bust too?
bucks,
Oh,
and
wait, I
it's
think I saw that at one of my Walmarts too. Have you opened it?
I have not. It might be worth heading back to your Walmart to check out because they're clearing it out. You got your certificate of authenticity for
There's only 1,000?
mass, the mass-produced, but your certificate of authenticity for the mass-produced um, resin bust. But I thought it was pretty cool. We've talked before on the streams how we both appreciate this character of Cyclops, and for $30, I was
Very
I thought,
underutilized in the films.
yeah, well, yeah, and they had a good actor playing him too. James Marsden is
Yeah.
a good actor, and
I don't know what's the more sad part about that, honestly. The fact that they underutilized Cyclops as a character, or the fact that they had a good actor to play the character and then underutilized the actor. Like,
yeah, yeah, I have no idea, but it's got a nice weight to it. It's got the shading on it. It's not good. My camera's not really good enough to pick it all up, but it's got the shading and stuff on it. If I get out of screen,
it
will it?
actually does look pretty good. The
So
only
I
your
thought it was cool.
NVIDIA broadcast is blurring him because he doesn't think he's a human. No, but that looks pretty good.
So anyway, if you're a fan of the X-Men, you might be worth a trip to your local Walmart to see if they have this guy on sale. I love the little visor blast action that they included with it. So
That did look good.
they're clearing them out. So go look for them. It looks like, and two, this is from the animated show. On the side, at least, they feature other characters. So I'm not sure if this was an entire line that they did. If there's an entire line of those out there, because if there is, I might just have sent myself down an eBay rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are pretty good. That actually looked surprisingly good. Because I
Yeah,
saw that box and I literally thought, I think I literally remember thinking to myself, "Huh, resin bust, that's funny." Because it's just like a little, like it's like this big. I was like, "That can't be very good if they're selling it at Walmart." Like, but they actually look really good.
I mean, it's Diamond Toys, who does a lot
Diamond
of Diamond,
Select, yeah.
Diamond Select, so they do a lot of comic book stuff, and yeah, so it's got the shading and stuff. It looks like in the animated style. I'm pleased with. I mean, especially when you find these things on clearance, even
Yeah, I
better.
mean, sure. What was it, $30? Is that what it was?
$30, yeah, yep.
That's not bad.
Nope.
It's pretty good. I might have to go
Right.
back and see. I don't remember which Walmart I was at because I got like 3 in my general area that I go to.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look. Now I'll be curious because I did like how the shading was. If they did have more, like, I would
Like,
like a little Wolverine one and a little Gambit one. That'd be cool.
yeah, definitely. I'd like
Although,
the Jean Grey to go along with this one. Just put them next to
yeah,
each other.
that'd be a good little set to have at least too, right? Like, I wish they would have made some more. I mean, really, no.
Yeah.
Sideshow's made a couple of their. I don't really care for the sideshow ones. The ones that they made, the 6 scale figures they made of the animated series renditions. Like, they're fine, but I don't there's something about them I don't like when every time I've seen them, I never wanted to I just don't think they looked as good as they could have, like and I think it was honestly just because, like, the material they used for the suits, I felt like looked kinda meh. It
Yeah.
just looked like they were wearing a sock. Like, I think that's what kinda did it for me, but I don't know.
Nice.
Nevertheless, that's a good find for sure. I'm glad you pulled the trigger on it because, that made me might wanna go back and pull the trigger on it myself if I can find it again.
Yeah. I did a quick Google here, and they did the whole. It looks like they did the whole line. There's a Rogue. There's a Gambit looks good too. Gambit's got a lit up playing card. Looks pretty good.
Does it actually light up? Is it a light up feature?
No, no, it's not light up
Oh,
features.
okay.
It's
This
got
has
the
a kinetic
it's
energy
the
around it.
effect, yeah, just like Cyclops' visor. So,
That's cool, though. Now I wanna pull those up, damn it. That's the thing, I've only ever seen the Cyclops, so where
yeah,
were those at?
I've taken us down a offshoot, a rabbit hole now too.
I'm
They've
just more
got
confused as to how I never saw anything other than the Cyclops if they made all these figures.
none of these are showing up though as like, well, these are all at like collectible stores or like specialty stores. Like you've got them over at Toy Wiz. There's one, the Rogue one they've got listed on Amazon. It says Storm. Storm would be cool. She's got a little lightning effect. That one looks, Storm looks really good.
I wonder if, like, they had a Magneto
Hmm.
and a Deadpool. What? They had 2 different Deadpools.
Look at that. Magneto's clearance on Walmart's site.
Did you see this? They had 2 Deadpools. Not that I would get 2 Deadpools, but look at this shit. Look at this.
Oh,
They
that's
have
awesome.
they have this one, and they have this one.
Oh, that's cool. I like that one.
And it's funny because this one's more of an actual animated one, and then this
Yep.
one is not. That's funny, and this one actually is categorized as the animated one. These are all pretty
Animated.
good price for what they are. Like
Sure.
a Cap one, but this one's not animated. So it looks like Diamond Select just randomly got like a license for all this stuff and started making them because Magneto is $64. The Wolverine one is kind of lackluster.
Yeah, not very well, I don't know. I guess he had that pose.
I feel he just kind of looks kind of flat.
He does look flat.
It kind of works for Deadpool, but it's just I don't know. Maybe it's not enough shading or something. Yeah, maybe it's just a texture on his arm or something. I don't know. Gambit looked pretty good though.
Yeah, Gambit look good.
I mean, I got the 6 scale Cajun card dealer though, I will say, which is
Yep.
a pretty awesome Gambit figure. Like, I love that figure, it's so cool.
That
Dude,
is very cool.
did you see this one? The Phoenix Jean Grey?
I didn't see that one yet.
That looks really good. The
Uh,
Storm one looks really cool too. I don't know why I can't get a bigger picture of this, but, like, look and the picture's not even getting bigger. Look at that shit.
oh, that
There it
was
is.
a little pricier, huh? Looks
It's a
very
bit more expensive, but I like that a lot. That looks good.
yeah.
That is really cool.
These are probably something too, if you want, you should probably pick these up because once the Disney once the Disney new, X-Men '97 show comes out, I'm sure
Mhm.
that there's gonna be a bigger demand for these going
W
forward.
which is probably why they released them, in all honesty.
So, yeah,
I'm sure it had because I mean, why else would you randomly make these resin busts in 2022 off of a 1990s cartoon design, I feel
sure.
like. To be
Yeah,
fair, they did make, DC, but I guess DC is more known for this, though, and their properties were a bit longer lasting into the 2000s. Like, I have a lot of the animated series statues for all of their, Tim, Bruce Timm. No, I was literally was looking at Superman from the animated series, so I went to Tim Daly, who does the voice for
yep.
Superman. So that's when I kinda blanked on Bruce Timm because of that. The unmasked Wolverine is a cool $20 on this eBay, though. This eBay
Oh,
shop here.
nice.
See, I have a
Yeah,
lot of these full just like this, these Diamond Select, animate these are actually good. These are just vinyl statues, but this one's a resin one. The ones I have, I'm 99% sure are just vinyl for the DC animated renditions of all the characters, but they're really good little statues, man. Like, they look really because they're just doing the animated rendition of them, they don't need to be, like, super detailed, so, like, they did enough little shading here and there on them that I think, like, for the price point, they're really totally worth it if you're a fan of, like, the Bruce Timm animated DC stuff, because you can still find a lot of those. Like, I have, like, literally this Batman Beyond one right freaking here, and it is just, like, a perfect little, like
Awesome.
it's great. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a perfect rendition of what this character looked like in the animated series. Like, you can't really go wrong with it. And
Yep.
for it being, like, anywhere from, like, 30 to $60 at most for these things usually, like, really good. They get most of them have, like, a nice little, like, dynamic pose. Some of them do, some of them don't, but then you have nice display bases with them half the time. They're not removable or anything, but again, for, like, 30, $60 tops, it's like a 11-inch statue. Like, it's pretty good. I've always been pretty happy with those things every time I've come across them, to be honest with you. If you like this clip and want to be a part of the conversation, come back and join us for our live House of the Dragon after shows every Sunday around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, immediately following the premiere of each episode on HBO Max. We're also doing live after shows and Q&As every Friday around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with a 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time for She-Hulk, Lord of the Rings of Power, and we'll also be doing one for the Star Wars prequel series Andor when that comes out later this month. So if you like those shows, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you'll get notified every time that we go live. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the chat and answering your questions in our next video or live stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video and let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.